Hey everybody, welcome to Fantasy Premier League. It's Halloween week,
yes,
of course, and if you're haunted by another horrifying game week, then we'll be talking about which is the best player for you to bring in to help.
See what you did
Halloween.
there. See what you did there. And we've actually got a few tricks and treats up our sleeve, haven't we, Mark, for game week 10?
We have indeed. I can tell you now, nothing scares me more than going without Sergio Aguero in my fantasy team. But I'm considering that with his fading star coming under focus in this week's show. I'm also going to look at some differentials that might just see us through the next few game weeks. James.
Mark. Hey, Jules, you remember how you left fantasy man of the moment, Joe Allen, on the bench for 3 straight weeks recently?
Yeah, how could I forget?
Yeah, well, he heard all about it and how you missed out on 35 points in the process, and he sent you this message.
Oh, dear.
I think it's her fault. She should have kept the faith, to be perfectly honest.
Absolutely brutal. He's absolutely killed me there.
The funny thing is, you actually did put him in last week.
I know.
And what happened?
Well, this is the worst part, is that everyone's been giving me so much stick because I've had Joe Allen on the bench since the start of the season. He finally started scoring points. I missed out on 35 points or something ridiculous. So, game week 9, I thought, right, it's time for Joe Allen. So I put him in my side, took Mane out. Mane got 12 points and Joe Allen got 2.
Wow, that's why I hate Fantasy Premier League.
I'm jinxed.
Yeah, all right. Well, maybe next week will be better. Let's just check
Hopefully
on the numbers. The numbers for game week 9. First of all, top scorer. We've been talking about Stoke players a lot, and 142,000 of you put Xherdan Shaqiri into your lineups, and it's a good thing you did because he only went and got 15 points, a game week 9 high.
Yeah, and look at these two defenders also in the top point scorers for game week 9. Winston Reid, Gary Cahill, both on 14 points. That's because both of them scored a goal and they both kept clean sheets as well. So good on them.
Good work there, yeah. Most transferred in, a couple of men from Merseyside, Coutinho of Liverpool, Lukaku of Everton.
And most transferred out this week, 4th game week in a row, sees Zlatan on this list. He's also on 4 bookings now. That means just 1 away from a suspension. So that's probably part of the reason why he's being shipped out. And also Eric Bailly, so another Man United player in the most transferred out because of that knee injury. He's suspected to be ruled out for around about 2 months.
All right, and right behind them on the most transferred out list is Sergio Aguero. Sergio Aguero?
What?
What's going on, Mark?
It's very strange. I mean, he's been our go-to striker for so many seasons. He's been our go-to captain option as well. 24 goals last season, 26 the season before that. But all of a sudden, thousands are selling him. Why is that? It's because of his performances over the last 3 game weeks. If you look at the 3 game weeks and the captain support that he's had, a lot of players been banking on him for the armband, for double points, but game week 7, he turned up with 2 points. The game week after that, the -1 after the penalty miss. And then last weekend, just a point. Again, he was the most captain player out there. So suddenly, confidence as him as our captain is draining away. Is that an issue? Let's look at his stats to see whether he's regressed at all this season. So we're going to compare this season's goal attempts and key stats to his previous season. And straight away, I'm drawn to the minutes per attempt because 18.1 this season doesn't regress much, or doesn't regress at all from last season. It's here, it's the FPL points per match that we're concerned with. 5.5 this season, 6.13 last season. That's not a big regression for me. For me, that says stay patient with Aguero. There are other factors. Champions League against Barcelona, the international break. What does Guardiola think of him? Is he pressing too much? There's so much to consider, but I think stay patient with him. Watch him at West Brom and give it a bit longer. I think it's hasty to sell Aguero. He's too important to us. Jules?
Yeah, he's definitely staying in my side. I was kind of like a bit, not really sure what to do, but I'm staying patient, Mark. I'm taking your advice.
All right, let's have a little look at how your team's been doing against my team, James v.
I had a good
George.
week, didn't I?
I got a pasty.
Do you know what? The whole reason, I know we've been joking about the whole Joe Allen Mane thing, about Mane being on my bench and me finally putting Joe Allen in, but I think the key to my successful week was captaining Coutinho.
Oh, yeah, definitely. All right, well, there you can see. You got your 2nd straight win.
Yeah, 3 straight wins.
Oh,
I think,
3 straight wins
yeah.
now. And in terms of overall points, you're only 2 points behind me now.
Oh, I'm catching up,
certainly
You
are.
took an 8-point hit for transfers this
For the
week,
second
so what
week in a row. The problem is I hear all these lovely players on this show and I go home and buy them all.
I know.
And I have to pay the price.
It is hard.
Let's have a look at the game week 10 fixtures, and there are some pretty interesting ones there, Jules.
There are, especially starting off with the lunchtime kickoff on Saturday. Sunderland against Arsenal. Now, it's worth noting Sunderland are the only team across all 7 tiers of English football without a win yet this season. That's a staggering fact. But Could it be the week that Jermaine Defoe finally comes alive? It might be. Or could Sanchez and Walcott, who we're going to talk about in detail a bit later on, could they deliver yet again and make it 15 games in all competitions, being unbeaten?
Wow. Right underneath that, you've got Man United against Burnley, which is Tom Heaton, the Burnley keeper, the man with the most saves in the Premier League, against the man with the most shots, which is Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Now, Ibrahimovic hasn't had a goal since game week 4, so he might well be due for one.
Could be. Well, also, we are taking a look at Crystal Palace and Liverpool. Of course, Benteke going back to his former club. The interesting fact with this one, of course, Liverpool midfielders are always one to watch. However, Crystal Palace are actually the team with the most attempts from set pieces, and we know that Liverpool struggle to defend set pieces. Also worth noting that there's news that Scott Dan should be back for this game as well.
Which is good news. Now, one game just to pull out from Sunday, Everton against West Ham. West Ham have won 2 in a row. Everton haven't won in 4, but Everton have Romelu Lukaku, and Lukaku has scored in each of his last 6 games against West Ham.
Oh, interesting. OK, well, let's talk more about forwards, because we've already looked at Aguero in depth. We've already mentioned Zlatan, again, 4th week in a row, he's most transferred out player. So there is concerns for forwards in general across the board, though, isn't there, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons I've said keep faith with Aguero is the options elsewhere. There's not that many out there.
Yeah.
Look at the last 3 game weeks and the goals scored across teams. 66 goals in total.
This is incredible.
Just 17.
Of the 66 goals scored in the last 3 weeks, only 17 have actually come from forwards.
That's right. So we can no longer look at forwards as a source of goals. It's mainly in midfield. Let's look at the top teams, because that gives us a bit more analysis of where the goals are coming from.
Yeah, because where are they coming from? They're obviously mostly coming from midfield players, as you've mentioned, but look at the teams, and if we look, Arsenal and Liverpool haven't got any goals yet this season from their forward players. Yeah,
because Arsenal and Liverpool are playing Firmino and Sanchez in the striker's role, so the goals are coming from midfield players in FPL terms. And elsewhere, Spurs as well have had Son up front in Kane's absence, so we haven't got Kane as an option. So all of a sudden, there's a dearth of strikers there to turn to, with Zlatan and Aguero out of form.
Are you expecting that to change possibly with Arsenal and Liverpool, with possibly Giroud coming back in? Obviously, we saw Sturridge in the Cup score another couple of great goals.
Possibly, there are options, but I just think Liverpool like playing the way they do, and Arsenal, Sanchez could get moved out. And I think there are options coming in. Harry Kane coming back could be a big one for us. OK,
so we've also noticed that the lack of scoring goals from forwards has actually affected how bonus points have actually been shared out as well. This is really interesting, looking at this and looking at where the bonus points have been distributed.
Yeah, because forwards rely on the goals to generate the bonus points, but it's all happening in midfield and defence, and even goalkeepers are on par with forwards at the moment.
That's crazy that goalkeepers have got as many bonus points as forwards.
Yeah, well, that was game week 9, so that was one snapshot, but it's a pattern that we're seeing game week to game week at the moment. So.
OK, what about players with double figures? Because obviously, when you get a player that scores double figures, you're absolutely buzzing with your FPL team, even if especially if you've captained them as well, and it tends to be forwards that you tend to captain.
And this is it. We've always gone to forwards for that captaincy. We looked at Zlatan and Aguero at the start of the season, thought that was it, job done. It's not, it's in midfield. You know, only 2 forwards in the last 3 game weeks have got double figures, 19 midfielders.
Mark, more goalkeepers have more double figures than forwards.
So maybe we should captain goalkeepers. No, don't do that. But it's in midfield. It makes it difficult, because pinning down where the best captain is in midfield is very difficult.
Yeah, lots to think about there. And James, you're not going to buy any more forwards now, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm going to talk about Alex Iwobi now. Alex Iwobi this season has become Alex Iwobi, because he's been in the last 5 sides for Arsenal. We went along to ask Alex which of his Arsenal teammates should be getting into our teams.
People in the world love attacking players. So I'm going to say it has to be an attacker. I don't know who. Maybe Alexis or Mesut, because they have scored a few goals and do assists.
I would have been with you. I'd have thought Ozil with the most assists last season. Lots of people put him in, but no, Hector Bellerin.
Hector, oh, that's a good shout. Unfortunately, people do get injured, and that could probably disrupt the points you may get. I don't know. I think the way we're performing, I think everyone can just get points from each player on the team, so I don't know. I think about it, Hector's been performing well, Laura's been performing well, Mustafi, Nacho, I don't know. The defence is hard, in the midfield everyone's performing well, and attacks everyone, I don't know. I couldn't answer the question, it's so hard.
That's a title-winning team right there, isn't it?
Oh, I hope so, yeah.
Alex Iwobi is owned by 68,000 managers, and he costs 5.8 million. Now, Mark, you're going to tell us about another couple of Arsenal midfielders, Sanchez and Walcott. We've got both of them.
We have.
That's good news, right?
It is. They were good signings a few game weeks back, and they've done decent for us, particularly Walcott. A lot of transfers in, but things are changing now, I think.
What's changing?
Well, I think the fact that Walcott is outperforming Sanchez right now means that there's an option now to look beyond Sanchez, maybe look at the Liverpool midfield, because Walcott is doing the job.
He's doing the job, and he costs less, considerably less, than Sanchez does. So are you suggesting we should get rid of Sanchez?
Yeah, that 3.2 million can go a long way in our teams. Hopefully when the forwards start picking up and defenders come into it as well. That is the situation we're in right now. Maybe looking at selling Sanchez and holding Walcott.
All right, I want to see some evidence for this.
OK, well, I mean, over the last 5 game weeks, Walcott has outperformed Sanchez in almost every one of these key stats. And that's where this is coming from. So you look at the goal attempts in particular, 21 versus 19. You look at attempts in the box, 15, 13. But crucially, it's the points. Last 5 game weeks, 43 points to 35. Suddenly, it looks like Walcott can do the job.
But they're both good tallies. I mean, that just means that Sanchez is doing well, just not quite as well as Walcott. Why can't we keep both?
I think, well, certainly for this game week, Sunderland away, I'm definitely going to keep both.
Right.
But now I'm looking more at the Liverpool midfield in the coming game weeks.
Ditch one of these to bring in somebody nice from Liverpool.
I think so, because of the fixtures. Let's look at Arsenal and Liverpool's fixtures and how they compare. Because this is at the crux of it, basically. This is Arsenal's fixtures after the Sunderland away game. They stiffen up somewhat. They've got the local derby, they've got United away, difficult stuff, whereas Liverpool's run is pretty extraordinary.
Right, as you say, after this weekend, because Liverpool away at Crystal Palace, we've seen that go wrong for them before now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you want to keep your 2 Arsenal players if you got them at Sunderland.
My word, so selling Sanchez, crazy. Jules?
OK, well, lots to think about there. Coming up in part 2 of the FPL show, we'll take a closer look at Chelsea players. We'll be hearing from an FPL hero from a couple of seasons ago, George Boyd, and answering your Twitter questions.